Hi guys, it's Coach Al here, and we have got a quick 10-minute abs class for you. Now with this one, it's one of my absolute favorites. If you've been in my class, this is called ladder abs. How this is gonna work is we're gonna start with move A, and you're gonna do that move A for about 30 seconds on, and then I'm gonna add on a move B. So essentially then you do move A, take a rest, learn B, go back to A, go do A and B, 30 seconds each for 1 minute total, and then you add on C, then you add on D, and we're gonna hit it all the way until E. So that is going to be 5 moves to do, which is gonna be, by the end, quite a bit of time of constant moving, but this is meant to be a quick little session. So we're gonna get started here. Hopefully you've warmed up. If you haven't warmed up, you're gonna pause this video and you are gonna go hop on a cardio machine or do some jumping jacks, any movement for about 5 to 7 minutes just to get the blood pumping and moving, and then come on back to this video. Our first move is going to be a dolphin. So we're gonna come into a forearm plank, and then find a steady position with the plank. Spread the feet out hip distance apart, eye gaze straight down, cores in. From here, I'm gonna bring the booty up and back into a pike, rock forward into the plank. Palms are pressing into the ground, knees are lifted, and I'm not laying those hips dip down low. So let's start there, 30 seconds on, and we're gonna go here. We don't have a thing for that, and we're gonna go here in 3, in 2, and 1. So we're gonna bring it up and back, shift it forward, use that breath. So a body should be warmed up a little bit, and if you're like, nah, I'm gonna go into this a little bit on the cooler side, no big deal. What we don't want to happen is those hips to dip down too far or not shift fully into plank. So we can kind of go one extreme or the other. So make sure that you're coming up into that pike, find a moment of pause, and then shift all the way back so that elbow stacked underneath that shoulder. You've got 3, 2, take a rest, 1, drop it down, wiggle out those arms, great job. Now we are going to either come up into arm extended plank or stay in the forearm plank, and you have got 4-point touch. So I'm gonna hold the plank, and if at any point for this guy modification, drop to the knees. But I'm gonna spread the feet out again, I'm gonna tap right hand in front, then my right hand out to the side, and then switch to the left. Left hand taps in front, left hand taps to the side. And I'm just gonna work into that 4-point touch. Let's go here, starting back up with A though, because that's our B. We're gonna work into those dolphins. So let's start here in 3, in 2, and 1. So feet hip distance apart on the forearms, booty comes up and back, shift it all the way forward into that plank. Navel's up and in, eye gaze follows. So modification for this guy, if we're not used to, so you keep moving, it's just hard for me to move and talk. Modification for this guy would just to be holding a plank, meaning we're not gonna shift that booty up and back. You're just right here or even on the knees and just working into that deep core. Give me 3, 2, and 1. Hold that forearm plank. Now we're gonna touch with the right arm in front, out to the side, and then left arm touches out in front, out to the side. Make sure those feet are spread out because we are gonna shift that body weight over a little bit. It shouldn't be dramatic, but we're gonna shift it over a little bit as you go from 4 points of contact to 3. Give me less than 10 seconds. You've got this. Remember, we can drop down to our knees. Eye gaze shouldn't be down. Should be about the hands. 3, 2, and 1. Whoo! Nice job. I can feel my core wanting to just like let go and dump into my back, so really make sure that navel stays up and in. Got a quick break here. Let's go into move C. You're gonna flip onto your back, and we are going to do heel taps. So lay flat on your back, reverse tabletop legs. If you can keep a neutral spine, that's great. That's a little mouse house. Otherwise, do a quick little posterior pelvic tilt. So roll those hips, shorten up the hip flexors, flush the lower back with the mat, and then put on the ski boots, aka dorsiflex. So toes point up to the ceiling, hands down on the ground. If you need to support your pelvis, you can place hands underneath the booty. And you're just gonna tap one heel down at a time, really focusing on maintaining that core engagement while you move through the legs. We never want the back to rise and those hips to rock. And I'll show how to make that a little bit harder. Let's flip it back up. We've got dolphins to start because we're going back up to our A. And we're going here in 3, 2, and 1. So let's say you're a yogi. And while you're like, okay, forearm planks are good, but I love my arm extended planks. You can do a dolphin. It's just basically a plank to pike, an arm extension too. And for some of us, that might feel better in terms of body awareness and spatial awareness. And I will say, forearm plank, we're closer to the ground, works the core a little bit more. Arm extended plank, you're definitely building into that wrist strength because that's a lot of wrist flexion. But we're still not dumping all of our weight into the forearms or the wrists. Bring full body energy into this. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Find that forearm plank or drop down onto the knees. 4-point touch. So really check in with that core. Now, if we're shaking, because I can already feel myself starting to shake. What that shaking means is we're starting to lose our deep transverse abdominis engagement. AKA the big thing that we're trying to work. If you're shaking a ton to the point where it's very clear, go down onto the knees. I know it's not you working as hard, but then you can pull that navel up and in, find that calmness in the body, and be able to work into the muscles correctly. Because when we work into it correctly, we're gonna get good results. It doesn't matter that we're doing the best of the best if it's not actually good form. All right, we're gonna flip onto that back in 5 seconds. Heel taps in 3, 2, 1. Flip onto that back. Lay down. Neutral spine or imprinted. Ski boots on. Tabletop legs, palms pressing down. 1 heel tap at a time. This should feel so good, right? We're on our backs, but we're still working into that core. If you need to make this a little bit harder, zip the legs together. Tap both heels down at the same time, and that's really tough to maintain those abs. And then make sure we're not rushing here, right? So if we're just kind of like tapping them out and going fast and not being intentional, we're not gonna get a ton out of this. You have got 10 seconds. Check in with that core, pull the navel down. You can imprint the spine if we need to. Give me 3, 2, take that rest. 1. Nice job, guys. Whew. All right. Now we are gonna go into our move D. So we have 2 more moves, that's it. We're gonna actually go into our glutes and we are gonna do frog pump. So why we're gonna work into the glutes when it's a core workout? Because your glutes are part of your core. Anything that attaches to your spine really is what we need to work. Having strong glutes is important. So I'm gonna lay down flat on my back, little mouse house. I'm gonna bring my feet together, open, and my knees are wide, okay? Versus a frogger bridge where my knees are active and up a little bit more, we're laying these puppies down. I'm gonna lift my head, tuck my chin, palms down on the ground, and I'm gonna squeeze the glutes, lift the hips up. I know this feels awkward and looks awkward. Tap the booty down and bring it up. And I'm working here, so I'm not letting my knees come up to help use momentum. Knees stay in place, it's all in the hips and the glutes here. If the neck gets tired, hands behind, to not force down, but just to help kind of relieve that neck as you work into those frog pumps. This is a phenomenal glute workout. Let's flip it back over. Dolphins here in 3, in 2, and 1, because we're back at our base. So we're on the forearms, feet hip distance apart, shift it back, rock it forward, engaging that core. We're just bringing the breath here. And start to feel more confident in this move. As you get more tired, you can still be more confident. Good. Remember, we don't want those hips to dip down, and we don't want to just keep that booty up. We want to be able to come all the way down into the plank. You can come up into arms extension, do plank to pike. You only have 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold that plank. You can drop to the knees if you need to. 4-point touch. Right arm is going to tap in front to the side. Left arm is then going to tap up and to the side. So remember, we shift a little bit of that weight, but we shouldn't be opening up completely. If we're opening up completely, we're doing some funky, wonky movement with our body. And we're probably not engaging that core. You have got 5, 4, heel taps in 3, 2, and 1. Flip it onto that back. Lay down, reverse tabletop, quick transitions, because we only have 30 seconds. to maximize right here. Remember, neutral spine or imprinted. If you imprint, the knees are gonna come just a little bit more towards you. Pulling that navel down, down, down. So we're not pulling from other muscles. And then breathe and try to relax the upper body. You can zip the legs together and tap the heels down. Nice job. 10 more seconds. And then you got frog pumps. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet together, knees open, head lift, chin tucks, palms gently pressing in. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips. Hips stay level. And remember, we're not bringing the knees up and in. It's not this. It is absolutely keeping those knees open. So that way, we can really dig into those hip flexors, dig into the hams and those glutes. When our knees stay down, you are gonna have decreased range of motion. Now, I just let my head drop. You can do that. This isn't quite the best because this head up and chin tucked is really actually engaging those abs. This is a good modifier if your neck really needs it. But I encourage you to bring hands behind. Give me 3, 2, take that rest. Woo! 1 more add-on. Feet planted, hip distance apart. X, cross, crunch. This is one of my new favorite moves. Okay, gonna have my feet planted, knees up, hands behind the head. I'm gonna take a nice deep inhale. And as I exhale, I'm gonna lift my head, tuck the chin slightly, lift the shoulders, rotate, lifting one leg up to tap elbow to knee. And because I'm going slow, I can't really get up. And I'm just gonna alternate. So this is like a bicycle crunch variation, where once I come up, I'm gonna start rotating opposite knee to opposite elbow. And a big thing here is the foot that stays stable as I'm like trying to tap it with my foot, that stays planted on the ground. So what we don't want is you don't want to have your feet lift like this. You want the feet planted. And what that can mean is that you might have to give up this notion or idea that elbow has to tap the knee, okay? You can have space here, especially if it means we're gonna be stable in our foot, because that's gonna kinetically work into our abs. So working into this modification would be allowing space, or if we really need to, you can come up regular bicycle crunch. Let's bring it up to the top. We've got this. We're gonna finish nice and strong because this is it. Once you're done, we're done. Let's go into those dolphins in 3, 2, and 1. Find that forearm plank, spread the feet out, hip distance apart, shift it forward, shift it back. And just pay attention to the body without judgment. I always do this when I'm tired, right? Instead of being like, I feel weak, this sucks, this is hard, I kind of want to stop now. All those thoughts that just don't really help us. I want you to think, okay, my abs feel a little bit tired. Do I need to modify? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, can I use my breath? Can I keep going? Have a nice, honest to God, like positive conversation with yourself. You've got 3, 2, drop the knees, 1 if you need to. Otherwise, keep the knees up. Forearm, plank, 4 tap touch. That's a tongue twister there. I just added on a ton of words. 4-point plank is really what I call it. Remember, we can lift the knees up, work into that core. And remember, this is going to absolutely be sore and tired. You've done so much with it already. Expect it to be a little bit tough. You know you're gonna go on your back in those heel taps in 10 seconds. So whether you're on or off the knees, you got this. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, heel taps, let's go. Transition quickly so we don't waste any time because we're in the practice mode. So right here, I'm focusing on the body. I'm checking in with the spine. I'm checking in with my core engagement. I'm checking in with my breath. Nice job. Remember, if we need to make it harder, zip the legs together, ski boots on, imprint the spine, pull the navel down as you lower the heels to tap. And whoo, does that add on a huge difference. 10 more seconds, and we got frog pumps here. Try to relax the upper body if we can. Give me 3, 2, 1. Feet together, knees open. Head lifts, chin tucks, palms gently pressing in. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips. Remember, if we need to help support the neck, hands behind the neck. Once again, just, yes, I'm very aware of how awkward this is and how hard this must be to do in a gym with like people around you. However, I don't know about you, fitness to me is all about these like really awkward kind of sexual movements that we just need to embrace because it actually gives us really good results. Nice job. If you're really good, you can always add a weight on here if you don't need to support that neck. Give me 5, 4, 3, X cross crunch in 2, 1. Plant the feet, hip distance apart, hands behind the head. You're gonna exhale, crunch up, and tap opposite elbow to opposite knee, which remember, whichever foot's not lifting, that foot needs to stay planted. So if you're like, I can't even crunch up, then work on basic crunch and do just like a little rotation and then lift the opposite foot. Like you don't need to be all in or all out. Just showing up is huge and then just practicing. You've got this. Give me 10 more seconds. Rectus abs on fire right now. Give me 3, 2, 1. That was killer and that was tough. That is ladder abs, and if you have more time, now that you know all the moves, a really good way to keep this going if you're like loving it is to climb down the ladder. So I said you climbed up the ladder, we added on as we continue to go. Now you can take one off with each round until you get back to the basics in the beginning. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. I'm Coach Al. I'll see you guys later.